Midnight Station, home of animated horror stories.
Lucas had always been a collector. From a young age, he was fascinated with acquiring things, from stamps to coins and eventually to more obscure and esoteric items. Over the years, his collections grew, consuming entire rooms of his home as he searched for the next rare and unique treasure. One day, while browsing an online auction site, Lucas stumbled upon a listing for a mysterious artifact. A small, intricately carved wooden box with a dark and storied history. According to the description, the box had been passed down through generations and was rumored to hold a powerful secret. Intrigued, Lucas placed a bid and soon found himself the proud owner of the enigmatic relic. When the box arrived, it came with a warning. Do not open under any circumstances. Despite the cautionary note, Lucas was captivated by its craftsmanship. The carvings depicted scenes of sorrow and despair, with twisted, anguished faces etched into the wood. The beauty of the box and the mystery surrounding it only heightened Lucas's curiosity. As Lucas stood before the box, contemplating the warning message, he felt a growing sense of unease. He reached out, his fingers lightly grazing the lid, intent on opening it and uncovering its secret. But as he touched the smooth, carved surface, he felt an unnatural force emanating from the box. A chill ran down his back, causing the hairs on the back of his neck to stand on end. The feeling was unsettling, a whisper of something sinister and ancient lurking within. With a deep breath, Lucas pulled his hand back, deciding against opening the box for now. For many days, Lucas managed to resist the urge to open the box. He displayed it prominently in his collection, admiring its intricate details and wondering about the secret it held within. But as time went on, the box's presence seemed to grow more powerful, calling out to him and gnawing at the edges of his mind. Finally, Lucas could bear the temptation no longer. Late one night, his curiosity grew too great to ignore, and he approached the box, hands trembling with anticipation. He rationalized that the warning was likely a mere exaggeration, or an attempt to add intrigue to the artifact's history. With a deep breath, Lucas fumbled with the clasp and lifted the lid. In that moment, a powerful force pulled him towards the open box, sucking him into its depths. As he was drawn into the darkness, Lucas felt the weight of the box's curse settling upon him. Once he was fully absorbed by the artifact, the lid slammed shut, trapping Lucas within the wooden prison. The box's exterior transformed as a new, anguished face appeared among the carvings. Lucas's own visage, twisted by horror and regret. His curiosity had sealed his fate.
When I first discovered Beauteous Eternity, a little-known online cosmetics brand, I was entranced by its promises of eternal beauty. I've always been somewhat obsessed with beauty products, but this brand took that obsession to new heights. As I clicked on the Add to Cart button on the shimmering blushes, radiant foundations and glistening lipsticks, I had no idea of the nightmares that awaited me. My friends noticed a change, not just in my appearance but my demeanor as well. They remarked that my skin looked too perfect, almost as if it were a mannequin's, but they could not deny that the results were captivating. With each passing day, my transformation was becoming increasingly noticeable, and I was lauded for my breathtaking beauty. My skin, flawless and glowing, became the envy of all my peers. Compliments flowed like a never-ending river, each one inflating my ego and stoking the flames of my obsession. My social media followers skyrocketed, my posts showered with likes and comments praising my ethereal beauty. Suddenly, I was the girl who was asked out for coffee, invited to the hippest parties, and featured in popular lifestyle blogs. For once in my life, I was not just a face in the crowd, but the one that stood out, the one that shone the brightest. It was during this time, basking in the glow of newfound popularity and admiration, that I convinced myself that Beauteous Eternity was the best thing that ever happened to me. As time went, I shunned social gatherings, neglecting anything that would keep me away from my newfound treasure. Instead, I spent hours applying and reapplying the products. After all, the key to my happiness lies within perfecting my appearance. I found comfort in the soft brushes on my skin, the scent of the powders, the lusciousness of the lipsticks. Then my skin began to change. It started to harden, taking on the qualities of porcelain. It was flawless, yes, but also cold and lifeless. The lines on my face disappeared, replaced by an unnatural smoothness. My body followed suit, transforming into a mannequin-like figure, devoid of the warmth of human flesh. I found myself losing control over my facial muscles. My expressions became minimal, a smile or a frown feeling like a Herculean effort. One night, while I was caught in my routine of applying and reapplying the cosmetics, I realized my fingers wouldn't bend, my pulse racing as I stared at the rigid digits, cold and unmoving. I tried to reach for my phone, to call for help, but my arm wouldn't respond. Panic surged within me, my breath coming in ragged gasps. But even the act of breathing became difficult, my chest unwilling to rise and fall. My entire body froze, trapped in the act of beautifying a face that no longer felt like my own. I was left standing in front of my vanity, a statue of perfection with a mascara wand suspended in midair. I could do nothing but stare at my own terrified reflection in the mirror, unable to move, unable to scream. Every day people pass by me, marveling at the lifelike beauty of the porcelain mannequin in the window. Little do they know of the horror hidden behind the mask of perfection. My silent screams go unheard, my plea for help unseen.
Adam was a perfectly ordinary man with a perfectly ordinary life, save for one peculiar quirk. He was constantly hungry. No matter how much he ate or how often, the gnawing hunger in the pit of his stomach never subsided. Over time, it grew into an all-consuming obsession, driving him to search for anything that might quell the relentless craving. One day, while browsing the internet for a solution to his insatiable appetite, Adam stumbled upon an obscure online forum dedicated to the exploration of ancient and forgotten remedies. As he scrolled through the posts, one thread caught his attention: the Elixir of everlasting sustenance. The thread contained a recipe for a potion said to have been discovered in the ruins of an ancient civilization. The potion was rumored to grant the drinker complete freedom from hunger, forever satiating their appetite. Despite the dubious nature of the claim, Adam's desperation drove him to attempt the concoction. Following the instructions meticulously, Adam brewed the potion in his kitchen. It was a viscous, dark liquid with an aroma that stung his nostrils. Hesitant but hopeful, he raised the glass to his lips and took a sip. At first, nothing happened. Adam felt a pang of disappointment, but as the minutes passed, he noticed the hunger inside him begin to recede. The sensation was unlike anything he had ever experienced, a soothing, calming fullness that washed over him like a warm embrace. Ecstatic at the success of the potion, Adam reveled in his newfound freedom from hunger. Days passed and his appetite remained satisfied, allowing him to enjoy life without the ever-present gnawing in his stomach. But soon, something began to change. It wasn't long before the hunger returned, even more potent and insatiable than before. And yet, every time he tried to eat, he would vomit. His body rejected any food he attempted to consume, leaving him in a state of painful starvation. His desperation grew with every futile attempt to feed himself, culminating in a furious outburst. In his rage, he thrashed about his room, knocking over furniture and breaking anything within reach. In the midst of his tantrum, he accidentally sliced his hand open on a broken piece of glass. With a grimace, he brought his bleeding hand to his mouth, intending to clean the wound. But as the taste of his own blood filled his mouth, he felt an unfamiliar sensation. The pain of hunger momentarily eased, replaced by a feeling of satisfaction he had never known. A grim realization dawned upon him. It was blood, human blood, that nourished him. The mere thought was horrifying, but his desperation was too great, his hunger too intense. He needed more. And so Adam ventured out into the night, stalking the streets in search of unsuspecting victims to satiate his monstrous appetite. Every life he took, every drop of blood he consumed brought temporary relief from the relentless hunger that consumed him. But with each passing night, his appetite only grew more insatiable. His cravings evolved, no longer satisfied with just blood. He desired flesh. He became a creature of the night, a silent stalker, a monster driven by an all-consuming appetite, never again to know peace.
Animated horror stories at the Midnight Station. Please consider subscribing to support the channel and help us grow.